Hey everyone, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion, and today I have Mike Lopez, the CEO of Mission Echo, and you're probably trying to figure out what does echo mean. He will talk about that later in the interview, but I do want to just let you guys know that he feeds the homeless, and his quote is, "Everybody's got to eat." Michael was hungry and homeless, and by the grace of God, he isn't anymore. So, this is the reason why I'm so excited to interview Mike, aka Michael, because it's powerful to have a story that you've been there and done that, and now you're giving back. You know what I mean? So, I'm really excited. So, Mike, welcome to Lux Media Studios.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak, especially knowing that I'm speaking to the next mayor of Inglewood. I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, let the viewers know, like, where your family is from, where were you born and raised, and how was your childhood,
Okay.
and, and of course, high school, because that's like, man, I can
Yeah,
imagine the story of high school.
that's I'm from Huntington Park, raised all my life in the city of Huntington Park. Mom and dad, let's see, dad's from Mexico, mom was from Texas. And the only time I ever left Huntington Park, I've said it, several times, is when I went to do prison time. But I was raised in Huntington Park, attended all the local schools in Huntington Park, Middleton Elementary, Gage Junior High School, graduated Huntington Park High School in 1986. Um, that's where I spent all my entire life. I currently live in the city of Bell, which is really ironic.
Yeah.
Um, really ironic because back in the day, when I was gang active, we used to come to the city of Bell to do damage. And now I'm here in Bell watering my lawn and trimming my flowers and stuff. You know what I mean? And so it's just a different, I mean, it's 30 years later, so
Well, take the viewers through your first experience, with a county, or if you went to the youth authority, you know.
well, no, I was a good kid younger. I was a late
Mhm.
bloomer, I guess. But when I started going to the county in the 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, it was a violent world, being gang active. Wow, this is deep. I've never answered questions like this. This is deep. So, being my first time in the county jail, I had to learn the rules.
Mhm.
And, my particular neighborhood wasn't liked then. I think we had a green light. And so I was trying to learn the culture at the same time having pain, I had to pay them dues of being under a green light. It wasn't me particular, but it was a
Yes.
neighborhood. And so those of you that understand what the green light is, so it was not cool. It wasn't cool, but it was something I had to learn throughout the years, and having been to the county jail probably 10 times after that, you know what I mean? Things got a little bit easier, not much easier, but a little bit easier. Uh, but yeah, those are definitely times that I'll never forget. I carry those experiences and all the
Yes.
violence and the trauma and seeing it done to other people and then having it done to you for whatever reason it's crazy. It's crazy. Wow, didn't
Yeah.
expect this to go that way.
Yes, of course, of course. My show is about, empowering our viewers through your story, educating them, and teaching awareness.
Yeah.
That's the keys of purpose and passion.
Okay.
So, when you went to prison, what was that journey like? Because obviously it's a little bit different than county.
Definitely. It was definitely a lot different. So my first trip to prison, I mean, leaving the county jail under all the violence, and again, because of audio was green lighted, I didn't know that once I got to prison, that stuff stopped.
Yes.
Uh, that stuff was going to stop in prison because now it's in prison. It's a color thing. It's a skin color thing. And so the violence stopped, but now it's a different type of violence.
Mm-hmm.
You got the South North type of violence. You got the Black Brown violence. It's all racial. It's a big racial war. So the wars continued. I just wasn't so much a victim anymore. You know what I mean? It was just definitely different. Just definitely different, unexpected.
Yes.
Didn't know what to expect. Again, it's my first time in prison, and but I'll say, at the end of that first term, I mean, I can say I had a blast. It was different.
The
It was different.
experience, like the Wild Wild West, probably, right?
Wow. Oh, pretty much. Pretty much. It was definitely different.
Yeah. And then so when how many years did you do in prison?
I did a total of about 18 years, five different prison terms, and not counting like Orange County jail time, LA County jail time, all kinds of stuff like that. I never, being on parole, I never did served any violations, parole violations. I always picked
Hmm.
up new cases.
Wow.
It was easy. It was easy for me to discharge parole because, being drug tested, if your parole officer calls you to tell you, hey, you got to come and test on a Wednesday, well, then you stop getting high for a couple of days before, you have to go test. So when you go in a test, you're clean, and then it's
Yes.
back to party time. See you next month. You know what I mean? So it
Yes.
was a joke. It was kind of a joke. Even though it hurt me in the long run, but I mean, the system itself was a joke.
Yeah, I can understand that. And when I think about like when somebody's in prison, we see movies, right? And whether it's American Me or other things, right? So the viewers will probably get a taste of that kind of lifestyle, not by experience, but by looking at movies. So, in your experience being there in prison, was it just like the movies, or it was fabricated, or is it really like that and a little bit more?
Um, it's like the movies. It's like the movies. I mean, prison can be a very fun time, but within a fraction of a second, it turns upside down. Your world turns upside down, and all of a sudden, it's be careful. Um,
Yes.
it's depending on how involved you get in politics,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how badly you want to make a name for yourself. But definitely, it's not anything that I'd recommend for anybody or to anybody. Um, but I mean, definitely a different subculture there. You know what I mean? Sometimes I sit back and look at where I'm at today, and I flash back on yesterday, and I realize, wow, how far I've come.
Yes.
I can't believe sometimes that I've seen the things that I've seen in life and have been through some of the stuff that I've been through in life, and a lot of that being stuff, related to prison.
Yes, of course. Sometimes I think about when I think about prison is growing up in the 90s and knowing so many people from different hoods because of the West Side parties. And
Yeah.
I remember I went to Corcoran and I walked in and you get to sit down and you just see so many people and everybody was waving at me. I felt like Miss America. I was walking down just saying
Hey,
hi to the Bloods,
running for
Crips,
mayor.
and
I'm run-
SA.
I'm running for mayor. Who would
And
have
then
thought, my friend?
yes, and
Yeah.
then people are staring at me like, "Dang, Raina, what the heck are you doing here?" And everybody was just hi, saying hi. They wanted a hug, but then the guards were like, "Who is this chick?" And I
Yeah.
just remember people would laugh and be like, "That's La Reina de Inglewood, the Queen of Inglewood," and I'm just busting up. And then
That's
also,
funny.
I think about it, it's like, oh man, Chino Prison, Corcoran, Ironwood State Prison, like the prisons that you visit, your loved ones or your ex boyfriends, or
Mhm.
friends or family. And I just remember like always smiling because there was never a day that I would go visit somebody and I knew a bunch of people.
Yeah, it happens. It happens like that. It does.
Yeah, definitely. Thinking about that, I remember one of my relatives was locked up in prison. And, he, on my father's side, I'm Mexican. On my mom's side, I'm half Mexican, half Creole. So in our family, in our Creole family, some look white, some look black, some look Latino, right? Or mixed like Alicia Keys. So one of my cousins was locked up and he looks African American and he was locked up with some dudes from 18th Street. And they took care of him because they were like, how do you know Raina? And he's like, that's my cousin. And they didn't believe him. They're like, nah, that's not your cousin. And then he's like, yeah, like my mom is Creole like her mom, but her dad's Mexican and my dad's black. And they're like, oh, okay, because we're like, you got a picture of Raina and her mom and dad, on the wall. And he's explaining, like, yeah, that's my blood relative. And
Yeah.
so he told me like he didn't have money and they took care of him like he was able to have food and things of that nature. So
Yep.
that really made me feel warm inside to know that my people was looking out out for my family. So
Yeah.
that was a,
Because
a
yeah, because
beautiful
of you.
story.
Yeah,
Yes.
because of you,
Yes. And
because of who you
who
were.
you, yes, exactly. And so when before you got out of prison, like what helped you, change your life before you came out? Were you reading the Bible? Were you, reading books? What helped you make that last change of saying, I don't want to come back. I want to do something with
Yeah.
my life.
Every time I went to prison. I'll be honest. When I was out on the street, I was running wild. I was a knucklehead. You know, crack, some heroin, gang banging, crimes, just doing it.
Yes.
The only time that I had a chance to read my Bible was when I was busted doing time. And I would read it. If dudes tell you, "Oh, I never read and I never read the Bible in prison," they're lying. Everybody, everybody needs that little time of peace.
Yes.
Everybody needs that little few minutes of comfort, of reassurance, of getting your next plan B together. And so every time that I went back to prison, I read my Bible. I read the Bible, and I consider myself like a seed that
Yes.
every time I went to prison, I was getting watered. I was getting watered until God decided, all right, you've learned your lesson. That's enough prison time for you. When I remember there's first times that I started reading the Bible, there were so many things that I didn't understand. But as I got older and as I
Mm-hmm.
kept going back to prison, things were revealed to me.
Yes.
I understood scriptures and passages, and I understood. And so it's like when my day finally came, I it was because I ran out of gas. Because
That's
every
right.
time I left prison, oh, I'm not coming back. Oh, I'm not coming back. And every time I went back, you know, um, my day came actually when I was out of prison, where I just decided, today's the day, man. People ask, because I do a lot of public speaking, and people ask, what changed you? How did you go back
Mhm.
to school? Because eventually, after all that prison time
Yes.
and 24 years of addiction, I ended up going back to school. Ironically, I earned my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and then I went on to a master's.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I earned my master's degree in forensic psychology. But people ask, because I speak at a lot of colleges, universities, and schools, high control parolee graduations and things like that. I'm honorary guest speaker, and people ask, what made you change? How did you get back to school? And I tell them this, and a lot of people get a big kick out of it, but it's truly what happened. I was sitting at home one day on the couch in the middle of the day watching TV, and that commercial came on where the guy says, "Hey, you, yeah, you right there sitting there while your life is going away. What are you going to do with yourself? Why don't you go back to school?" And I was watching all the different programs that the school was offering, and I'm figuring out, well, what can I go back to school for?
Yeah.
And youth advocate popped up. Youth advocate, huh? I wasn't sure what a youth advocate was. And so I asked my parole officer at that time, because I was on parole, what's a youth advocate? He told me it's a gang counselor. And there it was. The rest is history. I signed up. I went
Yes.
to
Yes.
Westwood
Yes.
College, and I went to school to be, that's where I started out. I wanted to be a gang counselor. So I thought, but I got my bachelor's in criminal justice. But as I went on to a master's program, my mind changed so many times as to what I wanted to do. How I ended up in the psychology field, only God knows. Only God knows, because the job that I'm doing now, I had no idea it even existed. I'm a patient's rights advocate.
Mm-hmm.
So I advocate for patients who are being held involuntarily in psych units.
Mm.
And my job is to represent them if they want to fight the hold. They're on a hold against their will. So I
Wow.
kind of play the role of like a public defender. My job is to get you out of the hospital, and I go up against, say, a social worker or sometimes a doctor themselves. They're like the prosecutor. They're telling the hearing officer, who is the role of the judge, why
Yes.
the patient needs to stay. I'm telling this judge why the patient should be let out. And so I have to put together a case based on legal criteria, not clinical criteria. And there's a difference.
Yes.
Look, ex cholo talking witching going on.
Yes. Right.
But
Clinical. Ay, ay,
you know,
ay.
but that's how I got back to school. Honestly, it was that commercial that, and so I being a risk taker all my life. Well, let's see what happens. I never expected to finish school. I was used to failing. I
Yes.
was used to I was used to revolving back to crack if I was uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen this time. I completed school, or I completed my bachelor's degree. Now, even though I've never really put this out there, I was 1 year away from finishing that bachelor's degree when I had to go back to prison
Oh, wow.
for a non-drug related offense. Uh, I was into CD piracy,
Mm-hmm.
and so I did go back to prison. When I checked out of school, needing 1 year left on my bachelor's degree. When I came home, I checked right back into school
That's
because
right.
I knew that's what I wanted to do. So now I'm sitting in prison thinking I'm in a hurry to get out because I need to get back to school. That right there kept me from getting into trouble while I was in prison
Yes.
because I had a goal, I had a purpose that I was trying to reach.
Yes.
So I'm in a hurry to get out of prison. So I wasn't really as active as I used to be, because when I get out, I'm going back to finish school. And
Yes.
that's exactly what I did, my friend. As soon as I paroled, checked in with the parole officer, did everything that I needed to do. And then after about a month, I believe, I went and reestablished myself back in school, finished my last year of my bachelor's degree, and went right into a master's degree.
Wow, that is so powerful. You know why? Because on purpose and passion, we always ask our guests, like, what is your purpose? What is your passion? And I want you to kind of explain that and going into your nonprofit and why you named
Okay.
it and things of that nature.
Okay. So one day, in 1995, it was in 95, I believe. Um, I was in my cell. I don't even remember what prison. I think it was up near Susanville somewhere. No, it was a cell, Susanville's dorms. I don't remember what prison, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting back to my cell all pumped up. And I don't remember if I came back from church or just, attending one of those motivational speaker type of events that they have in prison. But I got back to my cell pumped up, fired up, thinking, God, I'm tired of this life. I want to be like those dudes that just came in to talk to us, homies, fixed up homies, cleaned up
Yes.
homies, tack back, and they get to go home tonight. Lord, I want to do that. I'm tired of this life, Lord. And so my imagination drifted off. What would I call my program? What would I call, my group? And Echo came about. The EC is for ex Cholo, and the HO is for helping others. So ECHO stands
Mm.
for ex Cholo helping others. Now, this was in 1995. I had no idea that 25 years later it was going to manifest. Okay,
Wow.
so about 8 years ago, my wife and I and my two kids, my daughter was, I don't know, I think they were like 8 and 4, something like that. They were little. And we went out to Skid Row in Orange County. Yes, Orange County has a Skid Row. It used to be the
Yes.
Civic Center before they cleaned it up. And we went out on a weekend to feed the homeless out there with coffee, pizza, and donuts. Now, at that time, I was doing a lot of DJing for lowrider clubs. And so when I posted pictures on my Instagram, a lot of the lowrider clubs jumped in with, "Hey, Mike, the next time you go, let us know. Our car club will buy pizza. Our car club will buy the drinks. Our car club will donate this." And so I took those guys up on their offers. And here we are in 2022. That accident of going out to feed the homeless has now turned into a full-blown nonprofit organization. We're a
Yes.
501c3, and I still have car clubs, and I still have community members, who are now donating, volunteering, contributing food and clothing items. That's why I tell people I accidentally started a 501c3. I didn't mean to, but with the platform that I had on my Instagram of DJing car shows all up and down California, Texas, Nevada, Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
I had a following. I accidentally had a following, and they've supported me to this day. They've supported
Wow.
me to this. I've, living in LA, we go to downtown Skid Row in LA. I've had car clubs
Mm-hmm.
all the way up north from Stockton, from Modesto, who have come to LA to help us feed the homeless.
Wow, that's
That's crazy.
so beautiful,
That's
though.
crazy.
That's
When I
beautiful.
My buddy Manny and his mom and dad are pastors. They came from Stockton to help us feed the homeless. And I couldn't believe that, wow, you guys came from Stockton just to help us feed the homeless. And I said, yeah, Mike, we believe in what you're doing. We want to be part of what you're doing. So many car clubs in, Northern California, Southern California, Majestics, LA, Majestics, Huntington Park, Duke's Car Club, San Gabriel Valley. So many car clubs that were there at the beginning, are still here today. And, as well as a lot of just families that will bring their little kids out to help us
Yeah.
on Skid Row.
Wow, that is so powerful. So we're in 2022. What are your goals and visions for this year for yourself or for your organization?
So I've been running this nonprofit organization by raffles. We don't have a grant writer. I've never applied for a grant. If you go onto our Instagram, which is mission_echo, by the way, you see that we raffle everything. We raffle gift cards, Michael Kors purses. I mean, anything of value, we raffle.
Yes.
At the very beginning of the pandemic, the very first raffle we ever had was 2 cans of Lysol. I think I told this story last week.
Yes, yes. At the
Two
Rotary
cans.
Club.
We raffled off 2 cans of Lysol, and we raised $1,600 because that was the beginning fund for a cargo van. We recently bought a 46,000 cargo van, paid it off in full, all by raffles.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
so my goals for this year, I mean, my kids and my wife, we handwrite these tickets all the time. Look, we have them here.
Yes.
We still run off of raffles and donations. But however, my goal this year, I'm going to be very soon signing up to take a course on grant writing, because I've been asking the Lord to take Mission Echo to that next level now.
Yes.
My goal, and it's up to God to when He's going to bless us with it, is I don't want to just be feeding the homeless on the corners anymore. I
Yeah.
want a building. I want a multi-service center where people can come and take a shower daily, do laundry,
Mm-hmm.
maybe talk to a housing coordinator, a job coordinator, you know, uh, I want to run a multi-service center. I don't want to just feed the homeless. I want to help people get back into life,
Yes.
back on their feet. Let's get you off these streets now, guys.
Powerful.
Okay. Let me hook you up to some drug counseling, what you need. Let me hook you
Mm-hmm.
up to get some mental health services, because
Yes.
that's what's needed here in LA.
Yes, I
We
agree.
don't need another taco shop. I'm sorry. We don't need another taco shop or another liquor store or
Yes.
another Panda or whatever it is. We need drug rehabs. We need services for the mentally ill who aren't receiving services.
Yes.
That's what
Wow.
we need. It's easier to go buy a taco and a beer somewhere than it is to find a drug rehab. And that's sad in the city of Los Angeles. Now, I'm not saying everybody out there is an addict, because that's not the case.
Yes.
I'm not saying everybody's an alcoholic, because that's not the case. Because I can show you a few people who were both attorneys who, after losing their spouse, their spouses died,
Yes.
their life spiraled out of control because of the sadness, and they've ended up on Skid Row. And I think I told this story last week when I was speaking in
Mm-hmm.
Inglewood as well. I even know a doctor who was a medical doctor who tried meth once, and the rest is history. Drugs
Wow.
drugs are an equal opportunity destroyer. I heard that many, many, many years ago in prison, and I've always said it. Drugs are an equal opportunity destroyer. People would say, "Oh, he was a doctor. How could he have done that?" He's a person.
Yes, he's human.
He's a person.
Yes.
And so again, drugs and alcohol are an equal opportunity destroyer. So those are my goals. First off is to get this certification to be a certified grant writer, so I can write to these corporations and ask for money, because I'm getting tired of the raffling. um it's a lot of work. There's so much behind the scenes work that I do that never makes it to Instagram.
Yes.
But I'm so grateful to these raffles, because these raffles have sustained Mission Echo for 8 years. We've been a nonprofit for going on 3, but we've been feeding the homeless for 8 years from our hearts,
Yes.
truly from my
Wow.
heart, because I know what it's like to be homeless, and I know what it's like to be hungry. Look, there goes my eyes getting all teared up.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, man, it's only food. Help us out. Help us to help others.
Yes.
Stop thinking that they're all drug addicts. Regardless, I tell people it's none of my business why you're on this tent,
Yes.
but it's my business to help you. It's my business to bring you some food. And when we
Wow.
get all those compliments from people saying, hey, man, thank you for remembering us. We appreciate this food you're bringing. I never forget to mention, hey, these are from a whole bunch of donors. It's not just me and my family. It's everybody together, coming to help these people out there.
Wow,
I
that is
couldn't do it
so
on my own.
powerful.
I can't afford to feed. We're serving close to 2,000 meals a month. I can't afford to pay
Wow.
for 2,000 meals a month, but it's through this network of volunteers and donors that God has trusted to me because I've been faithful to my promise. Lord, clean me up, please, and I will do anything you want.
Oh, that is
So I
so
mean it from my
powerful.
heart, and every time that I talk about it, it gets me because
Because you've been
that's
there
how
before,
I
because you've experienced it.
that and because I'm truly grateful to be 12 years clean today. I'm very grateful to be 12 years clean today.
Congratulations,
The
man.
job that I have, I've been there for 8 years as an adult. Now I'm talking as far back as I'm 54 now. As an adult, meaning when I turned 18, I've never had a job for more than 90 days
Mm-hmm.
because I was always getting arrested or I got caught stealing from my job because I was a crackhead.
Yes.
I've had this job that I currently have now for 8 years. I'm the program director. I'm the
Wow.
boss or one of the bosses.
Yes.
I do the interviewing, the hiring, giving the raises. Me, me.
But
You know
look what God can do, though. He can,
exactly.
man, he can work some magic, boy.
Yeah, definitely. People, get a little loose all the time. They say, "Oh, God is good." Oh, you have no idea, my friend. You have
Yes.
no idea. Look what He did to me. I'm a miracle. Look what He did to me.
Yes, you are
You know.
definitely a miracle. Yes. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for just sharing your testimony and still continuing to give back. I'm excited about you taking your course for grant writing because I need you to.
I see people advertising on Instagram. Hey, I need a grant writer to come and write for my company. And I'm like, hold on, just wait. You
Yeah,
know,
just
get at
wait.
me in 90. Get at me in 90 days.
Yes, of
But
course.
I'm excited and I'm nervous at the same time. I'm 54. Technology scares me.
You'll be
Um,
fine.
it scares me. I'm thinking, oh, I hope I can log on to this Zoom interview right here on time. And then, when I logged in, it said the host is somewhere else at a different. Like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Am I at the wrong meeting?
No, you're at the right meeting. And so, as we close the show, is there something inspirational that you would like to share with our viewers? And how can our viewers follow you on social media?
So yes, first of all, the purpose of what we do is to show compassion for one another first. It's only food. I tell everybody, it's only food. No donation is too small. Can you help me help others? Whether you give me $2, whether you give me $200. People can follow our Instagram. It's mission_echo. And they can see exactly where their donation is going. But I serve as a message, as a sign of hope that we can change. No matter, I was addicted for 24 years, my friend. I had burnt
Yes.
lips, burnt fingertips, stole from my mom, my dad, my grandma, my little tiny baby girls at the time. Every time that my mom would buy them a gold chain or gold earrings, here I'd come and pluck it. I was
Yes.
that bad, but we can change. Look at me, 24 years addict. Now I've been clean for 12 years. And, by the grace of God, he needs me to serve his people, and
Yes.
I do it wholeheartedly.
Yes.
It's not about just going to feed the homeless. It's about having friendships out there. I know people by name. People know
Yes.
me by name. They know my family by name, my wife, my two sons, or I'm sorry, my son and my daughter. I meant to say two kids, but they know us. When I go out there alone, they'll say, "Hey, where's little Mike at? Is he home doing homework?" Yeah, that's why he couldn't come right now. It's a friendship with those people out there. It's not just
Yes.
feeding the homeless. It's a friendship because those people out there have stories too.
Yes, they
I
do.
want to serve as the message that we can change and that, hey, let's have some compassion for others. Regardless of why they're out there, can you make a donation to us without passing judgment on where this donation is going?
That's right.
Please don't send in, $10 and say, I wish I can send more. No, don't apologize for your donation. $10 is $10. Please don't text me saying, oh, why do you spend your time help? They're all drug addicts. No, they're not. And if they're, so what? So was I.
Yes.
So was I. And now I'm the CEO. I'm the CEO of my own 501c3. I've done the footwork to stay clean. I've done the footwork to be legit with this organization. And I will continue to do the footwork as long as God allows me to breathe, to hopefully make God smile. Not to earn a spot in heaven, but because people are here suffering. People will pull over quickly to the side of the road to pick up a cute, hurt little puppy.
Yes.
How many people will pull over to help that man, to give him a pair of shoes, to buy him a taco, to buy him a water? You see someone
Yes.
standing in front of a McDonald's or a 7-Eleven, don't give him $1. Just go in there and buy him a couple of sodas, buy him a couple of sandwiches. It's only food, guys.
Yeah.
It's only food. It's that simple.
Man.
Volunteers, if you want to help, come on out and help us do what we do. Again, please follow our Instagram, mission_echo. Some people donate without volunteering. Some
Mm-hmm.
people volunteering because they don't have enough to donate. Everybody works together, and I need everybody. People don't do any volunteering or any donating, but they share everything that I post so others can see. And
Yes.
that's a great help too. That's a great help too.
Wow. Thank you, Mike, for sharing your story. Well, viewers, I hope you were definitely inspired in so many ways. And as you know, I'm running for mayor of Inglewood. I'm truly excited about this year's journey. And
Yes.
you can, I got my business card, and a lot of people says, why does the sea have an airplane? You have to be from Inglewood to understand the airplanes that hover over your backyard. And you can find me on social media at Raina, Raina Carrillo, Carrillo. Until then, I hope you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you for the opportunity, my friend.
Welcome.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from